Okay. Game at Washington in Seattle, first of all. Really a tale of two halves. I mean, in the first half, we were outstanding, particularly on offense. I mean, defense, I shouldn't say we're outstanding on defense. We did some good things on defense in the first half. We were better in the second half on defense, and the offense was the exact opposite. We were outstanding in the first half. After the first two drives faltered, we had 4 straight touchdown drives, over 300 yards of offense, a bunch of first downs, and really probably our best half of football, maybe of the season. In the second half, I've been coaching a lot of years, and I've never seen such a dramatic difference in two halves by an offense, and we went from outstanding to not being able to do much of anything in the second half, and there was really no schematically, Huskies didn't do much different. They went a little more middle closed in the second half structure, and maybe just a hair less pressure, but there's really no explanation for it. I mean, I watched the film 3 times and can't tell you why we were so productive in the first half and had so much. We blocked well, we caught well, we threw well, we ran well. We did so many good things, and then had we just done half of that in the second half, we probably could have come away with a victory. But anyway, give credit to Washington. They played well. They're a good team, really good team, number 5 in the country, and came out and played much better in the second half. And like I said, we just, for whatever reason, couldn't generate any offense. So now we move on. Going to go to Tucson, another road trip. Arizona's playing very well. They're 7-3, coming off a win against Colorado. Got a lot going for them. The quarterback has really done well. Delora was the starter early in the year, then got hurt, and Fafita took over, and they really haven't looked back since then. And he's completing nearly 75% of his balls, and really has been a spark for him, I guess you could say. And so it'll be a tough game for us. As I mentioned, 2 7-3 teams, and we're going to have to play well. We're going to have to play extremely well to get a victory, and so that's where we're at. And Justin, why don't you lead us off? I didn't forget about you this week.
It says, can you give us your assessment of the Arizona quarterback in Fafita?
I think he's a playmaker. He's not the biggest guy. He's 5'11"-ish, but he's extremely savvy in the pocket. He's doing a good job running the offense, a really good job. They're getting 30-plus points and 4 something a week, or just about 4, somewhere in that range. But he's impressed me. What I've seen on tape, he's been very impressive, and I guess that's why, even though Delora is now healthy and able to play, they haven't switched back. They've stayed the course with the Fafita kid. So,
Jed Fish in the past has been very complimentary of you and your program and the culture. He said that he's trying to build what you've built. Do you see any similarities between what you guys are and what he's trying to turn that group into?
Well, I think they're doing a great job. I'll tell you that. I mean, he's got that thing turned. I mean, it was he started from scratch and rebuilt it his way, and they're playing really good football right now. And as far as similarities, I have to be closer to the program to give you a better idea of that. But I just know that they're winning and playing sound football, and they play hard, and they've recruited real well. That's probably and of course that's always the biggest factor is recruiting, and they've done a really nice job in the last 3 years of infusing talent into the program.
Coach, on Saturday the tone was more somber and frustrated, the mix of those two, somber and frustration between you and the players, more so than the other losses this season. How do you prepare your team for the final 2 games to avoid the letdown? Yeah,
well, the same way we did, we've lost to Oregon and Oregon State. Well, we lost to 3 top 10 teams, I guess. So you got to take the same approach, understand that there's more football to be played. You got to rebound, you got to respond, and our team has been good at that this year, at least the first couple times, and we got to do the same thing this time around. So there's no difference in our mindset and how we approach it. Got to put it behind you. I mean, you learn from it. You can't just ignore it. You watch the tape. You learn from the tape and figure out your deficiencies and what you got to work on, and then move forward. And again, said the same thing the last couple losses. Don't let the same team beat you twice, and avoid the hangover. And so we lean on the leadership of the team a lot. We lean on the coaches, setting the tempo and setting the mindset, and move forward.
When you look at the tape, is there anything dramatic that you see that you can take from this game and move on to Arizona?
Well, what's really dramatic is how well we functioned as an offense in the first half. Like I said, we had over 300 yards, and we were on pace for, 56 points and 600 plus yards. I mean, that's very good offense. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but again, we went from as productive as we can be to as the least production. I mean, it was a complete reversal, a complete 180. And again, same guys came out of their tunnel, Washington tunnel. There's no different players or scheme. It was just the roles were reversed in the second half.
You said in the immediate aftermath that it was your initial impression that you would need to double check that maybe the offensive line hadn't played quite as forcefully and the run game wasn't quite as effective.
That we everything I said positive about us in the first half can be flipped in the second half. We didn't throw the ball as well. We didn't catch the ball as well. We didn't run the ball as well. We didn't run block as well. We didn't pass protect as well. It was two different complete outcomes in each half.
I know you said that you watched the film 3 times, and you can't really come up with what changed. I mean, did any of your assistants, come up with a theory about why you were so drastic?
Nope. It's just. I wish we had an answer, but again, the play calling was very similar as far as our approach. There was no dramatic change in the weather. I mean, there was really nothing that you can really pin it to. It was just great execution and production in the first half, not so good in the second half, to put it mildly.
When you look through your coaching career, I mean, how difficult has this season been in comparison to others, knowing with all the injuries and everything you've had?
The most difficult. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But again, as I said over and over, nobody cares. It's just part of the game, and you got to deal with it and move forward. And no one's going to feel sorry for you, and you just got to win with the guys you got. That's the bottom line.
Devon Bailey's averaging about 6 catches, 90 yards per game the last 3 weeks. He scored
Right.
only 2 touchdowns in the season in the last 3 weeks. Why this growth in his output over the last 3 games?
Well, he's been our #1 receiver all season long, but we haven't targeted him as much as we needed to in those first several ball games. Made a concerted effort to get him more targets in the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's paid off in a lot of ways. He has had his most production in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and so we just should have done a better job as coaches of getting him the ball early on. That's probably the easiest answer I can give you, the most succinct answer.
You had a tough call on that tight end to get a first down.
Yeah.
Do you get explanations during the game?
During the game, very brief, generalized explanations, and I guess the guy thought he saw a push-off. So that was the explanation.
Not to put you in a spot here, did you see a push-off?
I did not see a push-off. No, did not see that. But I'm not the official. But,
so you can make contact, but they actually thought he went.
That was the explanation I got. Is there was a shove that caused separation, but I've looked at it dozens of times and haven't seen that. So
Going back to the injuries, you mentioned how Jaquindon has been just kind of gutting it out, being a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're at 3 losses, do you start potentially looking at maybe shutting him down, maybe shutting other guys down who are in a similar situation?
No, not at all. I mean, we would never let a record or wins and losses dictate the safety of a player or the health of a player. It's if he feels good to go and he's ready, then we go. And so that doesn't enter into the equation. It's completely dependent upon the safety of the player and where he is physically and how ready he is. So
with this weekend, already coaches losing their jobs over the weekend for different things, and the transfer portal opening up for those teams. With that being what it is, are you trying to find out the decision with Cam and Brandt earlier, or how do you kind of manage that, knowing you have to look?
Yeah, that's it's not just Cam and Brandt. We've got probably a dozen guys in that boat that at the end of the year, do I test the waters in the NFL? Do I come back for another year? I mean, there's quite a few guys, and to answer your question, we've already begun those discussions. And I think I said a week or two or three ago that what used to be taboo and you wait till the end of the season to handle all that type of business, it's too late by then. And so you got to get a good idea and a good handle on what you're expecting from those guys that have the option to go either way. And like I said, we've already done that, and it's not, we don't have all the answers, but we've got a good idea what to expect.
Kyle, given the injuries and the offensive struggles, the fact that this season can still be 9 regular season wins, 10 wins with a bowl game, does that seem a little remarkable, just given all the injuries and all the troubles?
I'm very proud of our guys for what they've accomplished so far. To be 7-3 right now is a tribute to our players and their toughness and the depth of our roster. And so yeah, already proud of what they've accomplished. But we take it 1 week at a time, and if we can get to 8 wins this week, then that'll be a big positive for us.
Kyle, there are a lot of players who go into the transfer portal, and playing time can be an issue and all that, all across the country. They
Right.
program. Do you chart your program and see, take a depth chart at the start of the season or in the spring and see how many snaps guys who are 2s and 3s actually end up playing?
Oh yeah, we've got that all mapped out. Yeah, I can.
How much do they end up playing?
The 2s and 3s, well, it's different. Typically you're going to have about 15 to 18 guys on each side of the ball that really factor in. And so that's going to be 35, 40 guys, when you count specialists, that really make up 95% of your reps for the team. And then there's also special teams guys that don't really play much at all on offense and defense, but are major special teams contributors. But as far as the O and the D, like I said, 15 to 18 that are integral part of what you're doing. And so 1 3/4 deep, I guess, 1.5 deep.